This is the SHPA website, lots and lots of information available there. We already talked a little bit about the education and everything that SHPA provides, and it does look good in a resume. It's something that, you know, if you've got 100 resumes and, you chuck out the first 50 that don't have the right things on them, you've got 50 left. Half of them have SHPA and half don't. You know which ones are going to have a little tick at the top. Also, Patrick mentioned the education seminars that we do. There are lots of different seminars that SHPA provide in different specialty areas. Particularly of interest to you guys, I would have thought, early in your career is the introductory seminar to clinical pharmacy practice. That's usually held twice a year in 2 different locations around Australia. I know I did it just soon after I registered. You could also do it during your intern year, and a lot of hospitals are, if they're a lot of hospitals are happy to fund it if you're sweet talk your boss. But even showing interest in that, I would be interested in completing this course to improve my clinical skills as a pharmacist. And also even meeting other people, because they're only in 2 places around Australia. So, I met tons of people from Queensland and from Western Australia. I was in Sydney, so I didn't get to travel. But, you meet people, it's about networking and socialising with other pharmacists.
There'll be three next year.
3 next year in introductory pharmacy.
And increasing it due to popular demand.
It's always booked out. You can see all these ones are already fully booked. And they're also doing infectious diseases one next year as well. But you can see lots of different specialties. And these are intensive courses. These are 8 hours for 2 or 3 days. And you're being taught by specialist pharmacists working in those areas, around Australia. So they're fabulous workshops.
And it's still relevant with people working in the community, especially those interested in doing HMRs, because it's good clinical background.
And particularly the lab test seminar as well, for HMRs and community pharmacy too. The lab test one is always really popular. And also every branch of SHPA runs a symposium, which is like a 1-day event, education event that we do every year. We just had ours in August. In July. It was on neurology. So even attending things like that, and I know there were some students that came to that, put that in your resume. Say, highlight that. Say, I'm really interested in developing my clinical knowledge further. I attended this symposium and found it really intriguing to be able to, mingle with other practitioners. You know what I mean? Okay, you just write attended SHPA symposium. You attended. But telling why you attended and why it was so good and why, it's going to influence your, decision to be in hospital pharmacy, that's what's going to get you the interview. Watch out for that. Next year as an intern, you'll need your CPD points. We'll have another great symposium next year. And also the SHPA every year do a conference, national conference that rotates around Australia. This year it's in Hobart, and I think in hospital pharmacy it's really important as well to realise that further education, learning, development and research is really encouraged. So if you've done an honours project, or if there's something that you've done that you can highlight and say, look, I was really happy to do this research and I really enjoy doing it. I look forward to conducting other projects like this within the hospital. People want to hear that. They want you to publish your work. They want you to go and present. It's a really great experience in networking and getting it out there. And similarly, if you've been to any conferences, if you've published anything, even with your supervisors and your honours or anything, put in your resume. Point of difference, something that's going to make you stand out. That's right. But I think that's it. Cool.
Alrighty, thanks, Nat.
And I've got some info sheets about SHPA too.
Excuse Nat, just something I would have liked to have known last year is the 18-month intern student registration. Yes.
Yes, there's SHPA do a special registration, so it's an 18-month period, so it will cover you. But I think it's actually
January.
It's January to July, but I'm not sure whether it works reverse as well. So you can do it, July through to January, so that would cover you for the next 6 months and then for a full year.
It costs the same amount actually for a full year, half year.
Yeah.
So if you join now, the student rate for a year would end up being the same as if you waited 6 months. It'll cost the same in the end. So join, if you're not a member, join. Let's plug.
So we've got a few minutes for questions. You can ask any of our presenters. would like to kick it off?
I know this is for public hospitals, but the private hospitals take interns, and how would you go apply for that if they did?
Some do. Some advertise through the Sydney Morning Herald, but there's also on my presentation and SHPA website. I think I cut out up here. SHPA website. There's a little link here that says jobs. There's SHPA jobs register, which you can search by state, by students, interns, blah blah blah. A lot of the private hospital jobs go up there. I know I saw when I was in fourth year the Royal North Shore Private Hospital intern job went on the notice board here, so keep an eye on the notice board. But not the Marta private and Finney's private. I'm not sure if they take an intern.
They do sometimes.
Sometimes it just depends. And one of the private hospitals in Canberra sometimes takes an intern. It just depends.
There are quite a few private jobs around, but it's actually, because they don't necessarily advertise through New South Wales Health, it's sometimes even worth ringing the hospitals or sending an email just saying, are you taking interns? Sometimes they'll actually decide they're taking the intern way later. So they're the ones that come out sort of last often, not always, but yeah.
And think of unusual jobs too, like you see on New South Wales Health, sometimes Department of Corrections takes a pharmacist at the Long Bay Health Facility. So, that would be really interesting. It would be different. Getting a pat down on your way into work every morning. Any other questions?
Anyone else?
No, you first.
Is there a time limit for the interviews, or is this as long as you want it to be?
Normally we only have half an hour, so the question was how long, is there a limit on the time for the interview? Normally half an hour would be more than, would be the time that we'd allocate. Because we're going to do 12, interviews. We also have to have a panel, so we'll be taking at least one other pharmacist and one independent who doesn't work in the pharmacy. So we're taking a lot of people out of their jobs, so we would probably, half an hour probably the maximum time we have available.
I think that's a pretty general rule. Half an hour is about the time.
When you get in there, that's actually a lot. You don't want to sit there for half an hour.
I was just wondering, what do you like independent? Like, is that a doctor or a nurse who will be on the panel?
It can be anyone. In my year it was the librarian. That's my librarian. It could be a social worker, it could be anyone. So it's someone that isn't in your field of practice, that works at the hospital, that can judge, little bit about personality and whether you answer whether you're answering the question, not from a clinical point of view, but just as an absolute independent.
It can also be very useful if you're having trouble picking between very good candidates, to have someone who has never seen this person before, because you may have had a person that may have been at your work site as a student, and you have someone who's an independent and is able to make a cold decision about, 2 or 3 candidates. And it's also just good practice for a panel, because you've got a good spread of people. So you're not relying on, one department which may be influenced by, by the boss that's there. You've got another person who has no, doesn't worry them one way or the other which person gets the job. They're able just to give their honest opinion.
Thanks, Nina.
Should you put your marks in your resume or just like your average, or is that important?
Well, in my year, almost every job made you submit your academic transcript. There was only 1 or 2 positions that didn't make you submit your academic transcript. So you don't really have to spell them out. Unless there was something, they asked a question that was about that you enjoy extemporaneous dispensing, or you're happy to do those kind of things. You can say, well, yes, I really enjoy it because I got a PhD, and that's up there.
But I think you've got to remember too that we've got 100 applications that we're looking at. So if the academic transcript does it in a page, and you just scroll down and have a quick look. So that's enough. We don't need more reinforcement, because we get it when you see that academic